Judge Napolitano, with all respect, Fox Connecticut News. They have you recorded and involved with racketeering with them, with other judges, various natures of cases in courts. They're racketeering at their branch with police, even a long-standing and former police chief of Weathersfield involved with a Cololo family that came into my grammar school when I was in fourth grade, involved with racketeering with an O'Brien family, with uses of congressional offices, uses of a pattern of confessions, racketeering with people's identities, with sick people. Further, with a child offender principals campus, they forced that by using the judges with what evidence racketeering. They've been forging, switching names in cases through time to prevent people. They've been sequence racketeering. Then they're using statutes, leaving out sequence. They're pretending they have the right to lie for evidence racketeering roles. So not by accident, they're self-valuing wars. They're self-valuing their roles with a whole bunch of nations with psychology. If you guys can't see, I could show you guys your physical delusions and your criminal foreign influences. That's with all respect with regarding psychology, uses of it, all kinds of racketeering with it. Recorded needs for them to hide their lie progressions from each database. Click misprision individually, each difference, age, sex, misprision grouped and all together. The systems criminally foreign influence state scenarios upon any real integrity of free speech. There were a whole bunch of names of people I never had anything to do with and people I barely had anything to do with, all recorded in a pattern of crimes. Like there's a Casper family and our others that were involved with racketeering with my grammar school. But I never saw him on the campus of my grammar school. I don't even know if he went to my grammar school. Also a Cuddy family, a whole bunch of people with intercities, intercampuses of the same age, and all ages of campuses with a vertical and horizontal racketeering method recorded. So these are criminal uses of the Witness Protection Program. Fox Connecticut News, also with your news personality who's a former police chief. See, these people need to be forgiveness is for this. These people are racketeering natures, sicker than most overt criminal enterprises, criminally recorded using pretending they're against recidivism to pretend that they don't realize racketeering roles with identity racketeering, identity thefts, identity tortures, identity fraud, torture, extortion, stealing free speech offensively in sustained ways against each age of fact, treating nature through time, including criminal uses of untimely death spots, criminal uses of a whole bunch of sick crimes sustained on a mass scale in Hartford through time, and sustained connected to the sick crimes less common, but the same ones involved with further racketeering roles with these shooters. Other natures of crimes, uses of each value treatment where they can attach it to other, hide their life progressions. There's a sustained offensive evidence perception crimes, originally instilled with color. That's not debatable, but with the originally instilled offensive evidence racketeering methods, pretending emotions and passions in relationship to integrity they know they never had, originally instilled. Whole bunch of people associated with on-off two-route highway involved with racketeering, sequence shifts. They're all those overt crimes. So when I speak about it, it pretends we had a conversation, like the people with the Allegro Cafe, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by their neighbors. I don't even know. I never had a conversation in my life. And by WFSB sources involved with racketeering with them. People with on off their location involved with racketeering with them. People on off Fox Connecticut News involved with racketeering with them. Also intercities uses of parks. Because now they're needed to hide their live progressions. They're needed to hide their racketeering with their sources, intermarriage, recorded individually grouped and together, not only crime acts, but crime methods. Also recorded crime motivations. So that's also tied to the sequence racketeering and pretended emotions and passions tied to that. There's also tied to physical delusions when people compare our nations to other nations, because we're in an identity of negative value nature progression since semi-ancient times. This just reminds. This is recorded racketeering with uses of the word environment and their roles with pseudo healthcare used, for example, with opinion nature rackets, racketeering with town offices, Weathersfield town offices. You know how many natures of organized crime? So the crime rolls, they're pushing because oh, we have the right to do like we're organized crime, like this current tomorrow. They and their own role, their roles. They know we want to interact with the other sex, so they put all kinds of games with like people sharing partners. If they do certain things like that, for and then they get rewards because they're sick. The whole bunch of I never had a conversation in my life with a Leahy family who are two Dr. Brendan Leahy's at least, and women in their family involved with the Hartford Hospital Triage in the Institute of Living, founded in 1822, involved with slavery then and now. This is worse than fact cheating nature and extortion. Fake conversations of me that never were at all, with a whole bunch of people with their drug clicks with New Britain Superior Court. Fake conversations, faking recorded things in times, all kinds of racketeering acts associated with a detective Samudin, a whole bunch of other police who pretended they were arresting officers of me. And I'd been in locations with them that I never were. These with courts that are attaching little kids to fake locations through time with sick, but insidiously and simultaneously insidiously and overtly, because this is tied to misprision, a whole bunch of criminality with prosecutors retired and standing, on off campuses uses, on off identity of each of our ground location uses by what originally and still was his offensive evidence perception, racketeering and collusion with what kept that and keeps that the effect to exploit. Now there are a whole bunch of people with the name Fazina and two Mendez police, and there are two Domain police, and there are their families recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They don't, involved with all kinds of natures of racketeering and with databases, with evidence is racketeering and identity thefts, identity fraud, sequence per roles with sequence shifts, per roles with mail crimes, wire crimes, per roles with fake news that stole me to a fake conversation, though, with WFSB and these people involved with these Mendez police, also involved with racketeering with the hallway of New Britain Superior Court, involved with them with crimes which proven and further involve racketeering through sex offenders' families, involved with them, with racketeering with evidences, with hiding evidence, pretending not to realize evidences, forging names and switching names in grouped. Weathersfield police individually grouped and together, all kinds of racketeering uses, not legalized racketeering. These are people that had that lead up to their motivations with the Trade Center. A whole bunch of people with a Walters family. There's a Charlie Bowes and a sister of his. I don't even know her name, who was recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. She was repeated. Like she was supposed to. In other words, they pretended to perceive things in conjunction with their racketeering with the Britain Superior Court, other natures of courts intercities, racketeering on and off the state judicial branch offices associated with a Old Town Cafe and with a house at the corner of Church Street and other houses on Church Street and start involved with racketeering on and off Central Connecticut State University, on and off Trinity College, on and off UConn, on and off Wesleyan College, on and off Middlesex Community College, on and off other colleges, all of them. Now these are interstates too. There's a Zano family and there's a Cololo family further recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by a whole bunch of people and by themselves involved with New Britain Superior Court, and further with a Phil Cololo recorded, confessed by a Bob Chase, involved with racketeering with this family also against me and with child sex offenders and the principal sex offenders campus. First, they forced that sustained, just caught anyway. Real or made up, especially made up, because that's involved anyway. All kinds of natures of crimes that brought that up, and then they didn't let it be told on. They have where they say see something, report something. involved with the racketeering that's making the real negative value nature cause of real negative value nature progressions acts and nature like predicate acts, keeping them maintained effectively to keep them maintained, blamed on other things and have that self-value because they're keeping them self-value. The real cause of the lie progression is to stay with the perception of each branch of government as a predator recorded. You guys are uh, natures of logic as criminal insidious as nature that you can't, and you're pretending that's an expert on logic now. Now, that needs to use positive and negative in relationship to our identity, whereas and how it's a complete nature simultaneously and unceasing semi-nature relationship to the identity that is in demonstration of its relationship to itself, that which has us as individual nature of volume, group, sex, nature of volume, age, group, area, group, species, bond. Now, this is in relationship to what nature of science has not let free speech since before semi-ancient times. It's minds. We're in an identity of negative value nature progression, maintain self-value this way, all self-valuing the obfuscation, the hurt of each age of correlation nature, of each age of sequence treatment nature, which is the value of all that is simultaneous, that is forever value of the past, that we build on or lose, lethal IDs. They want to put the debatable offensive. They're preventing mandated law. See, this is you can't teach about American history if you can't teach about how they didn't have free speech to counter what was in a sustained way preventing mandated law and propagating all that to roles, needs, natures, and interests with motivations real, but all needing to hide those real life progression roles, self-value, and reactions. Quality of fact, treatment nature styles as lie are forced in relationship to nature itself, which is this identity of value relationship to all other values. See, we have value courses forced to entertain the convictions of market positions of all kinds of way worse than monopoly associated with Facebook, also long through generations evolved with worse than extortion, identity thefts, database racketeering, with cases leading up to the Trade Center attack and in it. They were facilitated because this facilitated intercampuses. They're using the value chip because now you defended a British Constitution more and more. The best product's not going to win out. Those little narratives with the physical delusions, criminally foreign influenced, accepted. Oh, that's the time that we have. That's the treatments of the law. There was never law. The Civil War did not end slavery. See, we have people that are making opinions formally that you can't defend and do anything but self-value. The real cause of negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature is blamed on other things other than self. Acts like predicate act. Nature's like wrongdoers. There was now people forget that mail crimes and wire crimes and wire crime, mail crime rackets, like associated with these mental health experts that are standing criminal and serious nature. This Leahy family attached me to whole detailed fake conversations and about my father. Faked, weren't at all. We weren't even, never had a conversation with them in my life. These are also people with draw clicks with a whole bunch of names in the Britain Superior Court involved with the same thing with them, stacking databases with falsified police reports, their roles with extortion of little kids. That's why we have women judges involved, forging names, switching names with women prosecutors, criminal uses of lawyers, and arrange what they call good to bad now, and then the state's attorneys. That is being maintained consciously, methodically, effectively as a sick criminal and serious nature. Fake sides of correlation nature rules. Criminal use is offensive per a vertical and horizontal organized crime method that is off the ground of education's value, sustained on and off it. The value of education is identity, which is an increasing nature of volume simultaneously, while it is a standing volume. It is an inherent and it is progressive value. And see, now what built Hartford, Connecticut, what built the pathology of Wethersfield, Connecticut, the zoning laws is here across the world the same, because that was involved with where our founding fathers didn't have free speech, where they had forced, entertained, way short of actual positive, actual identities, actual sciences, obligations by our fact treatment nature needs to heal. So where and how means reveal or go away, at least of IDs. For space nature transfer, we must define this as lethal IDs. So, what is nature? Nature is the complete slash semi relationship, both complete and both semi superior to what is positive and negative, as identity of what is positive or negative. See, but now logic is prevented free speech by offensive torture note that was in place already with the branches racketeering with evidences in people's lives, worse than overt criminal enterprises since before our nation's founding, since before they put torture in with the Trade Center attack, and so with the recorded result with the coalition, though coalition already here and there self-valuing since semi-ancient times. The state scenarios of those same nations already stayed criminally foreign influence, self-valued. They want to defend that with that identity, with leaving that out. Meanwhile, it's the same shared enemy, the same shared real causes to impositions, because we have cars now. We have gasoline, but we're in what they were afraid to even build beyond safer. This is tactically unsafe, semi-unsafe, tactically not what we could afford individually grouped it together, but anything but this pathology. Not because of population. They want to blame, they invest opinion natures because no one ever heard science, and offensively they're investing people to duck behind in layers. What originally still had a whole bunch of liars pretending there's truth. So, we have all kinds of statutes racketeering, and we have various natures of judges involved with this, with forging names, switching names. We have real sick judges involved with probate courts, and we have their physical delusions. I'll help you guys delineate their physical delusions from their criminal foreign influences. But you see, they invested you guys so criminally involved with all the people on and off your plate. Thaddeus Grabowski, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin down, involved with sequence racketeering, database racketeering, whole bunch of natures of racketeering with people from my town with identity thefts, acting things so they could pretend to perceive things, and then pretend emotions and passions in background so they could use time treatments all ways too fast, too slow, and tied to the sequence shift racketeering, which is way worse. Predicate acts roles that maintain the identity of the FBI on and off their campuses. Now, I'm not sure for certain, but I know directly and indirectly other ways. Former director of the FBI down made and has criminal uses of military, foreign, and domestic, also involved with like a Spada family and a house next to them, involved further with people with racketeering with the forensics locations. And this is also racketeering as those people associated with racketeering with all the database clicks, not by accident, because this is before that's what's anchored what made all roles originally instilled, propagated to what they could stay perpetually maintaining everyone's self-cultivated pseudo positive fake science, positive as criminal insidiousness nature, forced valued by everyone else, regardless of the extent of the hurt of that, and how demonstrably they set up the Justice Department and the Pentagon to roles with like their little themes. This is the job, so you guys take the ropes program, and you'll do this when the kids have the problems at this age. They're at that. They even have littlest kids lying. And how they go through a phase when they lie and try to, that's tied to a lie progression because they've been using the value treatments with racketeering on paper. Now they need to keep correlation nature. Each age of it hurt originally and still. This is how they divided the Native Americans from each other. This is logic's course, Your Honor. and you guys, I'll sign, I'll get you, give you guys your out, but you got to get me the CNN then too, because CNN's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the racketeering with Facebook and CCSU, with the judges, with the child defenders through time, and with further things I need to say, and they know it because I'm aware of it, like a scuba shack, like the policing of Coles, like the logistics of that, and with all those, like, wherever there's unsafe things are unsafe, they're going to happen, not by accident though. We have other natures of racketeering and of criminals involved with the shootings on the north end of Hartford, with the shootings in New Haven, especially regarding the ones that are made up for the fake news and or recorded fake news they don't realize tied to actual shootings. Either way, those are involved with racketeering and fake sides of correlation nature. See, no one understands that but through their needs to hide life progressions with motivations, nature's needs, interest, built, kept, needed to pretend. Engineered for that. How could someone stay that? Because they all they do is maintain the nature of volume by having the positions all private tied to the campuses. I mean, all private tied to the branches. And since before the branches were made, off the ground of education's value, on off all forms of education, no matter what difference, all ages of it, each area is is forced to entertain sickly distinctly quality of fact, cheap in nature that you could see through right away. But that's also attached to insidious and simultaneously avert and through everyone orchestrated, so no one understands it, how to counter it, how to everyone gives up. All that is simple to understand about our answers. About, in other words, it's only complex because people are worse than obfuscating it. That's tied to their roles with women judges, even a black and white and female judges, like three of them or four of them, more, because district court too, are involved with child offenders, with racketeering associated with prosecutors, how they juxtapose with like Coast Guard people, identities. This guy's not like that. And then they have things that say this guy is so smart because he just did this job, that, but they have sequence racketeering with that. They're not supposed to use that to hide from mandated law by hiding racketeering. Then pretending that's what the law says. They've been doing that through time. Instead of having the right to pretend not to realize their roles with racketeering, prosecutors are pretending it's their job to try to prove things, regardless if they're true or not, and themselves knowing it's not true, because they're needing to hide their roles, racketeering uses of databases, racketeering uses of their mouths and minds. But this just reminds, the Civil War didn't free slavery, didn't free us from everyone using roles with real causes of predicate acts, value blamed on other things others themselves. They asked to hide the live progressions from those fact cheaping value justifications. We have sick prisons in collusion with the people that go in there. What they have the maintenance to. This is what is it with ISIS problem in there too. We have to the maintenance of styles of fact cheaping nature, of science quality, conviction nature. For example, already made value treatments of the Quran and of the Old Testament out of sequence. In the beginning of the Old Testament, the beginning of the Quran is set up to have a conversation about organized crime. And this is about criminal insidious nature, a quality of fact cheaping nature that they have the stewards of religions offensively defending through ulterior motivations, because there are uses of that for the fact cheaping nature racketeering, wherein has now the branches are just getting over on individual people and in sustained ways to prevent this from being discerned. In other words, they're using the youngest kids with prosecutors with the police chief's daughter, with the old principal when I was there, her old boyfriend, and rolls with a whole bunch of people with the Britain Superior Court, with other courts and their family members involved with racketeering with the kids, actual racketeering, evidence racketeering, mail crime rolls. Then they need to hide lie progressions. So they tell people to spread lies about people. Interbranch and the private tied to them, they have women pretending that men yelled at them. Now, these are also people recorded involved with forced abuses of kids on the with the areas, right through people like with the area in life. The interbranch people know each other. They were facilitated to it. The prison cliques know each other. They're also kept needing to hide personal racketeering roles. When I was in grammar school, see, there's a Joshua Julian further involved with the principal sex offenders school, with Facebook, with racketeering, with originally and still we had a whole bunch of nations involved with overt criminal enterprises, and with themselves as them legalized. Now, so we have the obligations to demonstrate them preventing mandated law as racketeering natures of the mind, originally and still. Racketeering identity theft, racketeering natures. See that they put up, I believe it's a mural of I believe the mural's right below Fox Connecticut News of Nipsey Hussle, which is involved with the racketeering again with the perspective of Fox Connecticut News. I don't have time because they're sustaining this. They already lied to the kids about me and about others and about my family members. And they say, oh, you said this online. They started this offline before I was ever on Facebook. They were involved with the racketeering against me, those cliques and people that were speaking through. So they can't so they have Facebook involved with child sex offenders. They even have Congress involved with me too for sequence racketeering, because these are people that are preventing mandated law and pretending to be for mandated law and using me too to prevent the recorded racketeering acts and methods that are actual evidences from being discerned. When I call up the police, they have to lie, and they did. They had to use mail crimes, and they did. Now, I don't need all the enemies in the world, all that money. I just need, let's get let's get WFSB though out of that location, and done from the fake news, because these are further involved with racketeering with the kids and with my name. They're recorded, confessed. They prevented me free speech by attaching me to fake conversations with them, by pretending things they know are not recorded and they're pretending they're recorded. They also attached themselves to recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with people that were defendants of my father's case and with their family members, and with former director of the FBI was their co-defendant. Those are the same people involved with racketeering in my area with them. But it's through the interbranch roles without pretending to offensively perceive things, and through their roles preventing mandated law and free speech. They're also involved with criminal racketeering uses of witness protection program with the same houses. The same people also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering with other natures of overt criminal enterprises. These are also people racketeering with on and off of Fox Connecticut News, on and off of the buildings next to it, with agencies, foreign police forms, foreign and domestic, database clicks, racketeering, uses of my name, all natures of racketeering, of physical delusions, right where we need experts on logic. We have standing. They can't defend their treatments of logic and not value people's identity stolen and themselves roles with it, forging names, switching names. These are the medical corruption with the interbranch corruption is most responsible with the intermilitary, foreign and domestic, on and off CCSU and collusion leading up to the Trade Center attack, leading up to 2006 case, leading up to cases before the. This is through time. There's a pathology of relationship to nature that can only cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, and with life progressions in that, withstanding life progression cover up natures. Now they can't follow mandated law originally and still. They can't. They can't stand science, so they have to pretend other offensively with fake sciences. So we have all kinds of natures of racketeering and roles of stacking. Then they pretend people don't like you because they pretend they know you. Of course, they know me. I have to beg for my for liberation from Fox Connect, from Interbranch. They brought Facebook into it. Facebook brought themselves into it too, though, because they're dealing with these people lying to them. They're dealing with some. They're not following mandated law. They're preventing people's speech, free speech. They're racketeering roles. In the Britain Superior Court's Facebook page involved crimes with child sex offenders proven. That what brought that up, untimely deaths. They're racketeering in other cases recorded. Their roles with Sandy Hook, doctors, and police forms. They're racketeering with the same ones interbranch on off the state judicial branch offices, on off the state prison offices, on off the house down the street from it, right before the highway, the Oliveras, associated with the Joshua Stryker and the Joshua Julian racketeering roles with clicks. This Joshua Julian, I don't know him. I don't know. Only know what he looks like even from online. I remembered his name repeated from the neighbor I have that came in fourth grade, who has the cousin also involved with identity thefts. I don't know him. Phil Claw, I barely know what he looks like. He's also involved with two Mendez police involved on and off Fox Connecticut News. Weathersfield Police Department used criminally by them. On and off New Britain Superior Court with those brothers involved with racketeering, attaching me to fake words with them, like with this Gino Mendez, putting the name of police equipment and then putting me into quotes. See, these sustained things, they're just, these are database racketeering roles that were also involved with drug crimes and with other natures of crimes that were also with the judges when I was a kid, criminal uses of each of the campuses I went to. They attached me to, I handed in a video presentation on them involved with drug dealing with people that didn't even go to my school that lived next to it. They didn't say anything about that. These are people that are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering acts, roles, and natures involved with two speech teachers I had. No, I never had one personal conversation with them when I was in high school. Now, then these were people that exploited that further with racketeering acts, roles, uses of CCSU, and leading up to that with other natures of wrongdoing and things like that, like with a speech class I had, like with a linguistics teacher, like with uses of the English department. They're forcing all, if you're not going to be a nature they can keep to use as a tool to hide their life progressions, because this is from off the ground of each education. When I was in that same grammar school, the person associated with the English, with the educational department is a Galucci, a guy named Galucci. Now he's associated with a Johnny Duke Galucci. Now he's also associated with all kinds of natures of racketeering too, with intercultural cliques, with like Clay, former heavyweight boxer with the Olympics, involved with a job with prisons. Reportedly, I never had one conversation with my life. I used to go to different gyms. Like I went to independent. Like I seen him before. I never had a conversation with him. In other words, and then was demonstrated. They have like, you know, they have the journalists are involved with police forms, are involved with interbranch sources that already had them involved with racketeering with them. They're already kept needing to hide life progressions, needing to hide styles of racketeering, like pretending, oh, well, well, this is what you do. You take it and then you bring it and you go into the court, and that's the process. That's not the process. The process is mandated law. When you see those courts are already recorded racketeering rolls with the crimes going on. That's not the process. It's hit the brakes. Here's CD brakes. So there are further corner houses on Maple Street that are a whole bunch of ways involved with news racketeering with the name Vega and with the Mendez police and with a whole bunch of police forms, real or made up shootings, recorded, confessed, involved, wire crimes, mail crimes, all kinds of natures of racketeering with a Weathersfield pizza. Also, with a whole bunch of people at CCSU involved with racketeering with them, and with the Steven Stocco and a Fazina family. And their neighbors are further involved too. These ways with the child offenders, criminal uses of parks through time. This is a whole bunch of methods of juxtaposed natures of crime and a method that stacks people within positions against others they don't even know. And then they say, oh, what do you know? We've been hearing you fighting with us all this time. From the background, no one will give me they forged names, switching names, all kind of racketeering like that. Switching their identities with others. Speaking about I can't get it since I was a kid. They wouldn't give me anything in writing. Now, this is also the Weathersfield police chief has his daughter, whole bunch of police, a whole bunch of ways demonstrated, confessed, and recorded. His daughter, her husband, Reno Mazzucato, his brothers and sisters, and their family also involved with this racketeering on and off CCSU, and with a bunch of different kind of crimes, 6 crimes, especially if made up. These are people involved with racketeering with forensics clicks through time with the rest of the child offenders, recorded and confessed by a Bob Chase associated with a Connecticut mental forensics place, but it's also a mental instant place. We're and also involved with Sandy Hook and houses on off the state prison offices, involved with the racketeering on off the state prison offices with the Fazina family and the others that are involved on off Fox Connecticut News with the racketeering and with the acting setting me up to go to a location. These are people involved with a house up the street called the O'Brien family, and their confessions, demonstration, recorded roles with offensive evidence fabrication, trying to pretend their families pretend to perceive things, and then they recruited. Then they got a Gold family involved with them with sequential of former Mayor Gold. He's also recorded and confessed and demonstrated with people tied to this Bob Chase involved racketeering with the houses in my area with the child sex offenders and criminal uses of the untimely deaths. One reported on the the College of Trinity College, also recorded involved with a whole bunch of natures of other racketeering and natures of insidious crime acts and actors, forging names and switching names. A whole bunch of people with the name Alicia that I don't know that they're pretending other. These are people with interstates, New York City, racketeering, all kinds of a whole bunch of people with Lena's Pizza on Park Street are involved with the racketeering with a detective Samuda pretended he was arresting officer of me, forging names, switching names, falsified police reports, his racketeering with child sex offenders and with medical campus. He pretended I was in his stewardship at a mental place I was never even at. 3 times they forced me into a triage. The first time I was there for like 3 days because I had to force my mother to call the police without telling her why. Because there's a former detective Dylan, Anna Dillon, his son, Sean Dillon, and other foreign and domestic military involved with racketeering with my new and past neighbors, all kinds of ways, and their drug cliques, and everyone's speaking through others. They need to pretend people don't like me so they can pretend we had conversations in ways that never were, and sequence relationships that never were, and tied to people that I don't know at all, like this Joshua Julian I know is recorded with Facebook racketeering, originally still exploiting how they have statutes telling them It's it's too much, so they ignore certain things, box sayings, but they're leaving out exceptions because they're involved with this recorded, confessed, demonstrated criminal roles leading up to and in the 2006 case with the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, leading up and into in the Trade Center attack context in the Ninth Circuit with racketeering through the witnesses and the I mean, through everyone. Those are all fake sides. Not what I'm trying to talk about. They also pretend not to understand things. I'm trying to speak about I need something on paper since I was a kid. And since I was a kid, people were stacking sustained racketeering acts against me from the same school now further involved with child offenders and with the same ones that were involved with other natures of racketeering when I was a kid, with the same medical families that also attached me to fake mental diagnosis and doctors when I was a kid. There's the Leahy families also. A whole bunch of people in New Britain Superior Court racketeering with this Leahy family, attached me to fake conversations about my family, fake conversations about the CIA, fake conversations about pretended. I had a conversation with anyone in my life about police surveilling me or surveilling my family. They faked me having conversations like that. They fake recorded things as police forms. These are too many names through time. They have online. If you try to report, this is our group. We are against this. Though they're for it. Facebook is racketeering with all kinds of Me Too. They're furthering child sex offending the principal sex offenders campus. Please give me someone to respond to in writing. These are bad people, Your Honor. Fox Connecticut News associated with you guys. No disrespect. I'm sorry for aggression. I've begged. I've not. I'm sorry. I begged. They also attach me to fake behavior like that. When they know they're doing this kind of racketeering against people, each age of their life, intercities connected. This is former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, his lawyer, Robert Chevery, on off his office on Farmington Avenue, note down the street from Harriet Beecher Stowe. Mark Twain. Here be just a woman with the conveniently with the term Uncle Tom. We have our founders offensively, their identity stolen. And that offensively, overtly, and insidiously, simultaneously, self-value because of all the misprision interwoven self-value. Victim predators who never heard logic's course. Please tell me the name of one doctor who said who denies this, because they're also sequence racketeering with the with various natures of courts and their family members, judges and their family members involved with sequence shift. In other words, they're going to try to play more sequence shift names, forging and switching, pretending they didn't realize. In other words, these are bad people. This is where we win America, Your Honor. Please, you guys are obligated. Please fix the fake news of WFSB. Theirs is the worst because they attach me to fake communications with them. And they also told lies that were needed by the people with the Justice Department racketeering, with the military cliques involved with this, and Coast Guard involved with these foreign cliques also. There are bad people associated with Pakistan and with the time with the Morrow family, Kerr family, indirectly pretending other, but also with judges, with the corner of and with police forms with the corner of Town Line Drive, with that mobile and the mobile down the street from it. And that path with they're there to CCSU. These are also people racketeering with Russians, pretending to be against such, like with the media racketeering, worlds with Russians here. Now you guys are all, again stacking all these names of people are faking conversation. I never had. You force people to my position. You guys have been incapable of defending your quality of fact should be nature, each nature of court since founding, not by accident, pounding drums. This is from some ancient times. So value comes again. So we have the religions also involved with racketeering because they need the value treatments like, oh, these people, they help out. So that's positive. The positive is a total another course. We have high predators involved with all kinds of racketeering with drugs, also with fire departments, how they're involved with the Russians criminally. All natures of campuses, each age of it is vertically, horizontally sick. Their uses of the corners of the spots with nothing that has anything to do with anything but how they're using the identity of the ground and ducking behind the sensibilities of agencies defending their integrity no matter what when they never had it. So they shouldn't have had my name. They faked too many things too long. Boxing is strong, but give it rest. I tell it best. Please help, Your Honor. Please fix the fake news so I don't have to keep describing your roles with the racketeering. And that's not easy to do. But it is because it's true. Not one justice of this nation is not recorded. Is every justice of this nation originally and still is recorded criminally foreign influencing with delusions, and worse because they had self-valued that already. They're victims the same way these overt criminal enterprises have no other way to think. You guys are obligated now to demonstrate the identity theft racketeering against Hartford, Connecticut. Take that. Didn't know because there's no way you can respect it. It's a weapon where you have the people paint little oh these are graffiti, it's art, and that's and put a little skate park there facing the north end of Hartford. How many of those people have skates? People that come there, not from North End. Well, there's shootings, see candles, crosses. That is built by a breaching organized crime method since before our founders' births. This pathology, this identity of the relationship to the grounds, identity of relationship to itself. Native can't. We're already retreated from everyone's rights, our native pure, or their worth, or their negative value nature. If you're speaking about rights, we have an identity of the ground, value circumvented, tactically denatured relationship to nature to maintain that self-value. Now they're mimicking the identity that is all things on once. And how? Its identity of relationship to itself. This is values actual course. We don't have free speech. We have to beg for it. And then that's exploited because then now they're involved with more and more natures of crime. They stack more and more people's names. This shows how they got the people motivated to hurt others involved with slavery. We have beasts. We have sick beasts pretending they're about positive. And you can't get a response. No one will follow mandated law. I don't care what they're doing with whatever foreign or domestic is involved with interbranch involved with downtown Hartford. What are you hiding behind with this Casper family with that racketeering? Get them from my name because these are also people. Hartford Hospital. I'm speaking of the Connecticut. The Fox Connecticut News location next to it is also involved with database racketeering with medical corruption, with interagencies corruption recorded, like this Leahy family attaching me to fake conversations about CIA. Also with people on a whole bunch of people on Two Route Highway, attaching me to fake locations, fake relationships with them, sequence wise, knowing them. I barely know those people, and these are people involved with the Phil Cololo further. Now, I don't know if they're FBI or what, but there's a Spada family also involved with people, and like this Fianza family and Fazina family, Fianza and Fazina are involved with the street with the state of Connecticut judicial branch offices and Weathersfield Pizza with wire crime racketeering roles, mail crime roles, with wire crime also with WFSB with a Paul Zano involved with a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court, racketeering with WFSB, Fox Connecticut News, fake conversations with me. How could I have free speech if they're stealing me to their fake things that they need to pretend I said? They pretend to proceed. They had no conversation. These are people real sick everyone, and Your Honor, with respect, please give me a response. I tried so hard not to have to. I just to have to hurt no one. I warned them just online and stuff like that. They don't care. I just need a. I need a one name. And I need them in true sequence because they're involved with racketeering with the even with the state's attorneys, forging names and switching names. Because these are people who are involved with racketeering uses of private lawyers. I don't know the names of them, but they're recorded because like involved with with a Mike Pandolf, and he's got an Anthony Pandolf, and I don't know the other names of his brothers and his family members, and a whole bunch of people involved with junkyards with them, involved with racketeering, and with that corner with the Samuel Dix house. That's also involved with this Joshua Julian with the racketeering with the grammar school and with the Facebooks with them, with the identity thefts and the identity racketeering with it, with the child sex offenders clicks that are also as the untimely death clicks that brought that up. They know that is recorded. They're hiding their rape threats with Facebook before that, used to force the principal sex offender. When I tried to call up to report those threats and other confessions tied to it, the the guy was like not. I mean, the guy was like weird, and then he kept calling. He kept left weird messages on our machine. In other words, and he used the wrong name, like said Mike Levine. That Mike Levine's one of the people who also further recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the rest of the child offenders. So these are forensics clicks, people with badges and shit. Excuse my language. Badges that are worthless. We have retired and standing judges and police firms and their families, even the mother of a sheriff, involved with all kinds of racketeering inter online police forms. Then their behavior. Oh, because you're not going to get you have to teach them how to be behavior. That we're going to, otherwise, because you're not going to get a job if you wrote something online. These are sequence these are racketeering. We're not free. This is racketeering leading up. These are that owes more than we need, and it's not even a person. Those natures of uses of campuses to business. This is from off the ground of education's value, on, off it, and layers. So please undo the force sustained countless natures of crimes, and you guys stacking people's names against me I never had conversation with, barely know them. They have to pretend other because they're already involved racketeering. Like all the people associated with Fox Connecticut News, Thaddeus Grabowski, other co-defendants of former director of the FBI, leading up. This is a long time you guys have been messing with me. I can't. If you call the police, they'll lie about what's recorded. If they'll use mail crimes, they use judges involve all kinds of racketeering with the Wethersfield police, with the houses in my area, foreign and domestic, overt criminal enterprises. Their criminal uses of each of the gym spots. I can't make a living. I can't use my evidences with them lying about me. I'm using evidence real. They're making things up. So they're incapable of having election crime. We have town officer of Wethersfield further involved with racketeering with Washington, a whole bunch of ways tied to two speech crashes of teachers I had, also involved with all kinds of medical racketeering. I never had a personal conversation with them when I was in high school. Also involved with racketeering with overt criminal enterprises, databases, racketeering, and then uses of allied progressions from that. Also has roles with these two men, this police, forging and faking me to conversations with them by pretending police recorded it. We have real sick people associated further with the principal sex offenders campus and who had roles with worse then and now. And note they use Sandy Hook to cover it up with a family that's involved with the extended family member of the one that used to live up the street. I don't know if they're still also more up the street, further recorded, confessed, involved with this, and FBI further. Whole bunch, so they name stack whole bunch of people. Those identities are worthless, and I'm sick of playing this game. There's no one's hearing me on YouTube. Oh well, you have to speak a certain way. You're not going to get hurt. I'm asking to report, man. I'm asking to report real crimes. They're using these online police as psychopaths. Fake news.